Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So with Module 25, Cryptic Studios have been trying to get healer companions more in line with each other. Let's test out if they've really changed anything. So here I've favorited all of my healer companions that I own. If I miss any that I have listed in my document, make sure to let me know, and I'll be sure to try and test that out if I can get my hands on that companion. Now we will be testing with these following stats at this item level. So the way we're testing out these healer companions is very simply summoning them, setting our dummy to 75k ratings, and then getting the boss dummy and attacking him. Making sure we do enough damage here so that he'd continue to attack us, and then we can see whenever we take damage, the companion can go and heal us back to full. If the companion doesn't heal us enough, then sometimes we have to use a stone of health to heal ourselves back up. You can see this Angel of Protection, not going to heal you for a whole lot very often. And so we go and we test out all the other companions like this. Now there are some companions which are a little bit different. They will just provide like a shield. This guy, he's not going to heal you, he's going to shield you. But that shielding can effectively be considered as healing because you're adding hit points. And you not necessarily even have to heal anybody for it. You can always add the hit points, so might actually make him a little bit better than a healer. And yes, his shields do stack with like a paladin healer's shields, so he's not going to be irrelevant to use with a paladin healer. You'll just increase your shields even higher. So we're going to compare like the DPS then. We need to make sure, of course, that the dummy's attacking us and not the companion, otherwise it defeats the point. So we got to use some damage powers here. But you can see whenever our shield is removed, it considers that as healing. We need to make sure we don't use our own shield block to throw off those results. So I went and got all the data, compiled it together in a spreadsheet, which we can see just here. So this is all 21 of those said healer companions. You can see like the Stalwart Lion is just a shielder. It's not going to be healing. And so is the Diva Champion. It's a shielder, not going to be healing. But that shielding can contribute to effective heals. Like the Barbarian Shaman can shield a little bit as well. I haven't put it in there because her shields are minuscule, and otherwise these are all the companions I've tested, along with like their maximum heal hit, along with their healing only to the summoner, and then healing to everybody in the party. Most cases, everybody in the party. Like if we took the Lizard Folk Shaman, he can actually only heal up to 3 additional targets. You'll see that in his tooltip just here with his power of Marsh's Blessing. You and 3 allies around you. So not going to be a full party and not going to be 10 people in a trial. But the majority of them can heal like 10 people in a trial. Just keep in mind the areas of heals. So for example, this fawn right here is going to be the same as those other fawns as well. Did get updated so that she'll actually go and put this well of healing next to the person. So this is the well. In order for her to heal allies, you have to all be standing in this well. So there's a limitation on that as well. We'll cover those in the top healer companions when we have a look at our data. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort them. So let's say you want a companion which is just going to heal you for the most. Well, you would go and take a dedicated squire or the fawn or the silver scaled cleric or the faithful initiate. They all have like the top healing right there. The dedicated squire, I would totally just take him because his healing not going to rely on the area like the fawn. You have to stand within it. The dedicated squire doesn't matter so much where you are located. Like we take a bit of damage here. You got to be close enough within about this distance to actually receive any heals. But in terms of, again, companion that's going to heal you the most, dedicated squire. And we can sort it then for the companion who's going to heal your party the most. Same, dedicated squire. You can see in second place, it's the Hellmite Paladin Ghost for healing your party. So not really anything changed. You can see some of the numbers here of the lower ranking companions, and well, they don't look very impressive at all. You can see this is their heal for the party, and they have some other heals that can be for just you as the summoner, and they look a bit better than numbers when you just look at those, but it's only going to be healing you. So these are viable options if you just want something that's going to support you when, let's say, questing or something and don't want to run potions. But to be honest, this type of healing is very small. You're not going to notice it much, not when you're at like a nearly 1,000,000 hate points and you could just be using either a stone or even a potion to heal you for like 300k versus a companion which is only going to heal you for like 15k on average per second, a maximum heal of maybe 70k. The healing companion with the highest maximum heal hit is actually Linu Lanorel with 159k. And the Diva Champion's ranked here just because of the sorting and where it goes A to Z. But basically, its maximum heal hit is dependent on your maximum hit points. So if my maximum hit points is 1,000,000, then I can get hit for a maximum of 50k. And that would be all the shield he gave me gone. And same with like the Stalwart Lion, it's at like 10% there. I could take a 2,000,000 damage hit and he'll mitigate 10% of that. So he'll mitigate 200k damage. Pretty neat. But again, it's vastly dependent on what you're getting actually hit for. So yeah, ultimately we have like 20 healer companions or so, and I wouldn't take any of them as healer companions. Don't focus on getting a companion that's just going to heal you or your group. You're better off with one of these from the list from the top, like 7 here, to just support your team with added support. The Stalwart Lion, I tested him like in Zemnid's Reliquary. Half the time he's not standing with people and he only works to mitigate the damage if he's actually standing with them. He'll help provide a small damage buff, I mean really small, where he grants everybody like radiant weapon damage for an additional hit, and then the damage is actually contributed to the person who has summoned the lion and not everybody. So it's a little bit wonky with that. But just, again, you're better off with like Spine Devil, Dritz, Portobello, Tutor, Black Death Scorpion, Bruner, Angel of Protection for the defense, Siege Master, and not much beyond that. These healer companions heal for next to nothing compared to what an actual healer can heal for. So I wouldn't take one trying to compensate for the lack of a healer or the lack of, let's say, the skill of that healer. They're not going to do much in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, okay. If you really want one, Dedicated Squire is probably the most reliable, followed by the Hellmite Paladin Ghost when you have people who can attack very often. This ranking is based off me attacking all the time with my Shielding or Valorous Strike, which is a cast time of 0.35 seconds. So I'm attacking there like nearly 3 times a second, and thus he can heal me every second with this Hellmite Seal of up to 3% of my maximum hit points. So yeah, to conclude, the Dedicated Squire is about the most reliable healer companion there is, and that's still to date. They have done some other updates to other companions, but none of them come close to the reliability of the Dedicated Squire. The Hellmite Paladin Ghost still pretty good when you're in a group and you can always attack the boss and maybe you need that extra bit of heals. But I still find Dedicated Squire all around the best healer companion you can use for your AFK farms, for your solo content, for your support if you're a paladin healer and need to basically give your allies a little bit of hit points over time outside of your own healing. Now with the Dedicated Squire, his healing will not be affected with, let's say, if you were to use Warlord Inspiration, which I did test him on using 3 of them and then tested without them, and it didn't make any difference. Same with or without the Companion Enchantment. As long as you make up for the item level difference somewhere else, that 150% companion damage won't affect their healing. So yeah, damage bonuses for your companion will not help healing. If you want to get your hands on a Dedicated Squire, that'll depend on the market, on what platform you're on. He doesn't exactly drop from everywhere. He came from some lockboxes, could come from Juma, but at this point you can't be farming him like you could before, so he is still pretty rare. The Hellmite Paladin Ghost, most likely on the very cheap side, and regardless of what quality you have him summoned at, he can still help your team. It's just your team has to actually attack to get healed. So hopefully this was somewhat insightful, you guys. Special thank you again to all these channel members for their added support. And we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.